Got another roundup today of some of the best everyday carry gear on Amazon under $50. This is always one of the most highly requested topics. Got a really great list today, so let's get into it. First up is the PIOOCAN L2 Flashlight. I'd never actually heard of this brand before, but found out it's a sub-brand of Woobin, and you can find a lot of the quality here for a fraction of the price. I got this thing on sale on Amazon for $17. Going over some of the basics, it's 3.7 inches in length, that weighs 60 grams with an aluminum body. You have 1200 lumens of max brightness, which is just absolutely wild for something in this small size. It's just a little bit bigger than those really small sizes in this format like the Ultralight i3T, but you get 5 or 6 times the brightness for exactly the same cost. You get a really nice switch, super easy operation. It goes between low, medium, and high. It's IPX6 water resistant. The flashlight itself isn't rechargeable, but it comes with a USB-C rechargeable AA battery, which is kind of the best of both worlds. You can swap it out really easily if it wears out over time. Comes with a really solid pocket clip they offer in a few different colors. Just all in all, extremely simple and straightforward light that's been working really great for me. I think the full price comes out to $27 or $28. I got it with a 40% off coupon on Amazon, so it came out to 16 and change. A really amazing value at that price point. Next up is a long-standing favorite of mine. This is the Nanobag Ultralight shopping bag. You all turned me onto this thing, I think like 4 or 5 years ago at this point, and I have yet to find anything comparable on the market. I've talked about this thing a ton in the past, but I want to bring it back up because a couple things have changed. First off, they're selling on Amazon now, which is great. But secondly, the only other complaint I've ever really had with that was this elastic cinch mechanism broke on some of my older ones. They've actually updated the design now, and I think that's going to help with the long-term durability. The bag itself is amazing though. They have a few different sizes. The standard size is usually what I prefer. It's a 19-liter bag. It only weighs 24 grams and obviously packs down super tiny, you know, maybe about the size of a golf ball. It has a weight rating of 30 kilograms or about 66 pounds. I can confirm this thing can hold way more than it should without breaking. Other than the issue with the cinch mechanism, I've been using regularly for years and they are still in perfect condition. They have a program on their site as well. They plant a tree for every bag sold, which is fun. They're only 15 bucks. You can throw them in your sling bag or even in your pocket if you wanted, especially in jacket season here in the cold. But I really can't recommend it enough, and I haven't been able to find anything else on the market that compares. Got some headphones up next. These are the Lytmi Cozyfit open ear headphones. I've been a huge fan of open ear headphones for the last several years. I like to use them when I'm hiking and backpacking. These were a real sleeper for me, and I was so pleasantly surprised with the quality for the price point. They come up to $40 and easily compete with my $100+ pairs of open ear headphones, specifically the Sony Link Buds and the Oladance open ear headphones. You know, they all have their own individual trade-offs, but these easily compete with those at a fraction of the price. They are extremely comfortable and lightweight. Each earbud weighs 6.5 grams. I think what really sets these apart compared to other options that go over the ear like this is the thin and soft layer that you have that goes in between. It's much thinner than anything else I've tried, and it's this sort of soft touch silicone feel. They're extremely comfortable and really stay snug and fit to your ear. Also worth mentioning, these work really well with glasses compared to any other pair in this shape that I've tried. I think again because of that thinness. Sound quality is definitely worth mentioning here. I generally have really low expectations for budget headphones and earbuds, and I generally have pretty low expectations for sound quality for open ear headphones. So it's a double whammy here, and these actually surprised me quite a bit. You still have pretty weak bass response. It's just kind of the nature of the style of headphone, but I had surprising clarity in the mids and the highs and some really good instrument separation. You're not going to get any big thumping bass, but if you listen to more like mid and treble heavy music, or if you want to listen to these just mainly for podcasts and audiobooks and things like that, these are perfectly serviceable in that regard and way better than I was expecting. The case is USB-C rechargeable. You have 8 hours of playtime on the buds themselves and 30 hours of playback from the case charging. Bluetooth 5.4, IPX5 water resistance. All in all, like I said, these punch way above their weight class for $40. You know, if you've been interested in open ear headphones, I think this is a great way to kind of step your toe into the market a bit, because I have some that are double or triple the price of these, and I would probably pick these to wear on a day-to-day basis. A little late to the party from the release, but this is the Casio LF20W. You all know I couldn't get through one of these without mentioning a digital Casio. Such a great value if you're looking to get into watches. I have so many of them and they're so much fun and they're just so cheap. The LF20 definitely had a moment when it got released. It was pretty tough to find and out of stock in a lot of places. It's kind of a digital alternative to the classic AE1200 World Time Watch because you get a lot of the World Time Watch functionality, but just in a little bit of a cleaner, more minimal type of design. The case measures 37.8 millimeters by 33.7 millimeters. It's only 8.6 millimeters thick and only weighs 23 grams. This thing is super thin and super light. It's very easy to forget that it's on your wrist. The entire watch is made with a bio-based resin. So you have a resin band, a resin case, and resin glass. You have all the great digital Casio functions, stopwatch, timer, alarm. You have a pretty good backlight on here. You have the world time functionality on here as well. So you can pick from 48 different cities to set your own, and you can easily switch between if you're traveling around a lot. Can't go wrong with any of the Casios. The A168 would be a great choice. I've got the Casio data bank on my wrist as well. This one I think comes out to $40, but I got this one for $23. A great pickup if you want something a little bit different from some of the classics. I've got a few other bonus items I want to showcase really quickly that I actually 3D printed. I also want to give a huge thank you to Bambulab for sponsoring this week's video and introduce you to the X1 Carbon 3D printer. I'm new to 3D printing, but I've been having such a blast. I've been using the X1 Carbon for the past couple of months and it is absolute perfection. It has a build volume of 256 millimeters cubed. It's a fully enclosed printer, which has quite a few benefits to it. It gives you a lot more control over your prints, less temperature fluctuations, higher temperatures in general, so you have the ability to work with more difficult filament. Also often overlooked, but really important for pet owners, so you have a lot less dust getting onto the print bed. The design is beautiful and it is just a great foolproof setup. Like I said, I'm new to printing and it was so easy for me to get this set up and printing with zero background knowledge and kind of learning as I go. There's a 5-inch touchscreen to control the unit, but you can actually send prints remotely through your computer or the Bamboo Handy mobile app. I'm still working on some of the CAD software like Fusion 360 and Blender to learn how to do that and create my own prints, but in the meantime there are a ton of options from other creators that have their prints posted. Bambulab actually has their own website, Maker World, that has a ton of great options on there. It works seamlessly with the app, so you can actually send it, you're sitting on the couch on your phone, send it off to your printer wirelessly. You can check on it while you're still on the couch with the time-lapse feature in the app, and next thing you know, your print's done and you've done literally zero work. So onto the prints. Like I said, I've got a few bonus items to showcase. I wanted to print out a little EDC kit setup here. I've been really loving the metal infused PLA filament from Bamboo lately. It just looks so great. I've been doing multicolor prints with the dark gray and the copper metallic. I think it is a great looking combo, but here are some of the things I've been printing. I found this wallet design that has a built-in money clip and actually fans out with your cards. I'm not usually a big fan of hard wallets, but I really like the design of this overall. I thought it was super clever. I found a really nice little sliding utility blade. You have some good texture on there. The design looks really great. I found a design for a full bolt action pen that uses Pilot G2 refills. This thing has been working really great for me. Bit driver that has the option to store extra bits in the side. You can actually pick different sizes as well, depending on how many bits you have. And one of my favorite options I found was this key organizer. I think this looks absolutely great and better than some ones that I've bought for this channel in the past. I did have to buy some screws for this, so it wasn't a fully printed option, but still, a couple of screws and you get something that looks this great. These were just a few of my favorites, but there are a ton of options over on the Maker World page. I also had a really great time having a printer for Halloween this year. I'm a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima. I printed out a Jin Sakai ghost mask, which was really cool. My wife and her friend actually went as Bellatrix and Hermione from Harry Potter, so I printed off both of their specific wands and the Bellatrix Lestrange dagger. Both of those came out really great, and it was just a nice last minute thing to add some extra cool factor to their costumes. But the X1 Carbon has been absolutely unbelievable. It is their top of the line model. I actually have their A1 as well. Sounds a little bit less expensive and definitely worth checking out if you're on a really tight budget, but I can't recommend it enough. stuff. The further I dive into the 3D printing community, especially on Reddit, it's great to see Bambulab get championed so much. The stuff just works. It's simple, it's straightforward, really great repairability, really great customer service. Just can't recommend it enough, and I'm really excited for some other ideas I have further down the road for the channel. Be sure to check the link in the description down below. Huge thanks again to Bambulab for sponsoring this week's video. Got a sling bag to talk about up next. This is the Mystery Ranch Full Moon Hip Pack. I usually am a big advocate for Tomahawk if you're on a tight budget, but I did see a few other options and figured it'd be worth testing. Mystery Ranch is extremely popular and I haven't had the chance to test any of their gear yet, so I thought this was a great excuse. Impressions on this are quite good. I do think it's a little bit more adventure focused than everyday carry focused. That just kind of depends on your use case and style though. This is missing a few things from other sling bags, but has a few other things that I haven't seen in any other sling bags. Going over some of the basics, it is a 330D Robic nylon fabric. It measures 7 inches by 13 inches by 7.5 inches deep. It's 6.3 liters in capacity. You have YKK zips. They're not AquaGuard, but the reverse, so you get a little tiny bit of water resistance. It's definitely a pretty big sling. You have the option to cinch down the sides, which is really nice. But getting into some of the things I haven't actually seen before, this is almost like a hybrid between a backpack and a sling bag. You have this top carry handle like you would on a backpack, which I thought was kind of nice and clever. But bigger than that, you have this full like reinforced back system. This is definitely designed more as a hip pack for like hiking or running or something like that. I think there's a plastic insert to add structure to the back, and then they have a ventilated foam padding like you would on a backpack back. Outside of that is pretty straightforward. You have this completely gigantic Duraflex buckle, which is overkill like ×2 on the sizing. Still really cool though for the durability aspect, but the overall organization is extremely simple. You have one zippered pocket on the front, and then you have just a giant wide open interior with one small zipper pocket inside. So it'd be really great if you want to carry around a bigger water bottle and not have to bring around a backpack. That's why I've always liked those slimmer memo bottles, because they fit into slings well. You can fit like a full liter bottle in here without any issue. Really great alternative if you want something a bit more versatile for some outdoor adventures. Otherwise the Tomahawk is probably still the leader for the majority of us, I think, if you're going around day to day, in the city or the suburbs or whatever, but a great option nonetheless. Comes in right at $50. For the travelers out there, this is the Victorinox Jetsetter. So this is a Swiss Army knife without the knife, kind of designed to be TSA compliant and travel friendly. If you were to only have one multi-tool or pocket knife, this probably wouldn't be it, but if you do a lot of traveling, this is definitely something worth considering. Right off the bat too, I'd love to know if anyone has used the Jetsetter and gone through TSA. Did you have success? Did you have any trouble with it? Let me know down in the comments. It's always so hit or miss with that sort of stuff. I'm definitely going to try and bring this, but it does make me a little bit nervous, even though it is technically compliant and bladeless. Setup is very straightforward here though. On this side, you have a bottle opener, a little wire stripper, and a Phillips screwdriver. On the other side, you have the classic Victorinox scissors, and then you always get the classic tweezers and toothpick here. So you could swap this out. I always like to swap mine out to include a fire starter instead of the toothpick. Really cool and nice addition. It weighs 23 grams. It's 2.3 inches long. This is the same size as their like classic mini SD. Like I said, if you're only going to have one, this might not be the one to get. I know there are some bigger, more substantial ones that are probably a better fit for some folks day to day. But if you do any kind of traveling and want something to take on the go, I think this is really cool. Again, I'd love to hear if you have any experience taking this through security. Let me know down in the comments. For anyone carrying a bit more tech in their EDC, this is the Anker Zolo 240 watt USB-C cable. I know it might be a stretch for some of you, but I know folks carry like a full tech bag loadout, and this was just too unique and too good of a deal to pass up talking about for this video. Full 240 watt USB-C cable that is this thin and flexible. Anker's pretty dependable with their stuff, so it is a proper full 240 watt option. This is thinner and less expensive than any other cable with these specs that I've ever seen. It's a braided cable. It looks and feels very similar to Apple's newer braided cables. It comes out to $11.99. They have a 3-foot or 6-foot option. They have a few different colors available as well. And that's really about it. There's not much else to say about it. It is a cable, but 240 watts is going to cover just about any of your devices. So if you want your phone, or if you want high powered charging for, handheld gaming device or laptop or any of those stuff, I tend to gravitate towards these because they're the most versatile to handle any tech in my travel bag or daily carry bag or backpack. Got an update to an old favorite of mine. This is the RovyVon U4 Pro Plus. I talked about the U4 when it came out a few years ago. I saw that they recently updated it and had to get it and check it out. First off, if you aren't familiar with the older one, this is a titanium carabiner, which is great in and of itself, but you have some built-in tools. So it's kind of a multi-tool carabiner. But specifically with this one, it has some really functional options. Sometimes you get a bunch of stuff that you don't really use or need. This one is simple and straightforward. You have a scalpel blade built in, as well as a little precision bit driver. Overall construction is really solid. It's a unibody titanium design. I really like the layout and design with this. It's easy to put stuff on, but hard to have stuff fall off accidentally. The big tweak that they made after some feedback from the original version is they added a little button lock for the tools, which was a welcomed addition. I didn't personally have any issues with that, but I do always have a little bit of fear for unlocking blades in my pocket. I did actually have that happen once and reached into my pocket and sliced the side of my hand pretty bad. I think that was last year sometime, but they have button locks built in now. Probably not the biggest value on the list here. It comes in at $46 or $47, but still under that $50 limit. If you want something that's just really high quality with some actual useful tools built in that don't get in the way of it being a proper carabiner the rest of the time, definitely check this one out. But on that note, that actually wraps up the list for today. These are always so fun. They get a little tough sometimes, but I've yet to not find enough cool gear to talk about for these videos. I'm not someone that needs the most expensive anything, but I'm definitely the person that is willing to invest in higher quality, more expensive stuff if it's worth it. Now, it's not always worth it. Sometimes there are good values to be had, but I just don't want to be promoting, generic crappy junk that's going to break on you. So I'll keep making these budget-focused videos as long as I can continue to find good quality gear that I trust recommending to any of you. Really hope you enjoyed this one though. Let me know down in the comments if you have anything you want me to check out for the next iteration in the series, whenever that is. But thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.